Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where today we're going to be talking about freshman advice for high school and college. Now, the reason why I wanted to group these two together is because first of all, they're both introductions into a whole new world of schooling, but also because they're very similar in some aspects and they're so important, and people seem to think that they're not as major as they are. Like, a lot of people feel like they can screw around their first year and then go back their 10th and 11th grade years or later in college and make up for it. But freshman year is so crucial. So I want to take the time to break down all the different aspects of high school and college. So let's go. So my first piece of advice is going to be combined with high school and college, and that is, first of all, don't be afraid to make new friends, because in this new transition, you're going to have to meet new people. We would all love if we could keep the same friends from middle school all the way through high school, college, and so on. But the truth of the matter is, some of us might be going to schools that are in different districts, and some of us might be going out of state when it comes to college. So the chances of you keeping the exact same people in your life all the way around is very slim. So be open to making new friends and meeting new people, because those people are going to be the new friends for that time frame of your life. Also, make sure to tour both your high school and your college. In middle school, it's a little different because everything is kind of smaller. You don't really have as many classes or as many buildings sometimes. In high school, it's different. You might have 2 or 3 separate buildings you need to go to. You might have had 3 or 4 different floors. Like, for instance, where I'm from in Detroit, Cass Tech at one point had about 13 floors, I want to say. So imagine going in there your first day and you have no clue where to go and you waited to the last minute. So now you actually have to be in class in 5 minutes and you have no idea where you're going. You definitely want to take advantage of orientations or tours or whatever the schools offer so that you can know the lay of the land. Same thing for college. College is actually a little bit more intense because you could have a classroom in a building on this side of town and then there's another one on the other side of town. So definitely know your surroundings, where your classes are going to be held, and have a great idea of where to go so that you don't spend your first day lost and behind on everything. Number 2 is focus on dating in high school. Now, when you get into high school as a freshman, especially if you're a cute freshman, older guys are going to come for you. And don't think it's because you're special or you're beautiful and there's nobody else in the school like you. It's literally because they know you're young, you're naive, and you're attracted to older guys. And they know they can prey on you. That's their whole motivation. So my advice to you in high school as a freshman, don't worry about dating. I think you should take your time and really focus in on your classes, because your freshman year classes are so important, and I'll get into that in a minute, for how you finish out the rest of your years. Now let's talk about dating in college. Now, dating in college your freshman year, again, I also suggest that you don't worry so heavily about it for kind of the same reasons, because class is so important and you really want to get as much as you can done in your freshman and sophomore years. So it's really not that important that you date. But I do understand that college is a little different, especially now because there's so much more hookup culture than maybe there was about 20, 30 years ago. So you really want to think heavily about who you're hooking up with. Be safe, be careful, and be more focused on your schoolwork, because at the end of the day, you want to graduate. If you took all this time to go to school and pay to be there, I'm gonna need you to do all of that stuff with the ambition of, I am going to finish and graduate and move on to the next thing. Don't worry about these dudes, they will be there later, trust me. My third piece of advice is about classes, and we're gonna start off with high school. So in high school, your freshman year, you don't really have a lot of say on what classes you take. And that's mostly because there are state mandatory requirements that you have to take your freshman year to even graduate. So the biggest thing I will say for this is focus and get it done. Get your classes done, because what can happen is if you don't do what you're supposed to do and you don't take your freshman year seriously, what you might have is, first of all, a lower overall average. So even if you pick up your sophomore, junior, and senior year, your overall average won't be as high as it could have been. 2, you run the risk of having to do summer school. I know for me, that was something that I did. I BS'd my freshman year and I didn't do anything I was supposed to, and I failed 2 classes. 2 classes that I had to make up: summer school sophomore year, summer school junior year. And I had to miss out on so many fun things over the summer because I had to be in summer school pretty much the whole time. I could only actually miss 2 days of summer school without failing, and it was not fun. It was not fun. And I would have rather been able to go out and do other things. Not only that, but if you do plan on going to college, you reduce the amount of scholarships you qualify for, and you reduce the colleges that you can apply to, because certain ones want to see certain things throughout your whole high school career. So take your classes seriously and make sure to do everything you need to do so that when you're done with your freshman year, and honestly even your sophomore year, you'll have an easier ride your junior and senior year. My senior year, because I did go to summer school, I pretty much had like 2 or 3 classes that were mandatory, and then everything else was elective, because after I figured out that freshman year was important and I made up the difference in the other 2 years, I set myself up to have an easier senior year. For college classes, you do have a lot more say in how you pick and choose your classes, but to a certain extent. Once you pick your field of study, you have certain classes that you have to take, prerequisite, intros, things like that, to ease you into your major. So I would suggest that you start early. Honestly, you probably need to start as early as summer or whenever they'll let you start registering, because you want to take the time to pick your classes, know which ones are in your major, get the most important ones first. Like I said, it's the same thing as if you were in high school. If you set yourself up to get the most important ones out first, then your last 2 years get to be a little bit easier. Or in college, you actually might be able to skim down your time from 4 years to 3 years to 2.5 years. I've known some people who've done it in 2.5 years. So, you really want to take your time with picking your classes. Make sure to rate your professors. I have a link down in the description below with a couple different websites that help you pick the right professors. A lot of students go in and they give their opinions on these professors and how well they teach the class. Because if you don't know, the professor makes the class. I don't care how boring or interesting the content is, the professor sets the tone. So you can have a good professor teaching boring content and make it exciting, or vice versa. It's very important that you know what you're getting beforehand. So definitely go through, rate your professors, pick your field of study down to a point. Like, it's not enough to have a generalized business degree. You need to have a business degree that specializes in a certain form of marketing or accounting or whatever. Like, the more specific you get, the better chances that you'll have of getting a job. But I'm not going to get into that too much now, because I'm going to do a whole nother video on picking classes and picking majors based on what you really want to do and how specific you need to be. Also, I want to point out that it is not important that you cram everything into your freshman year. I do say try to get as much as you can comfortably done, but don't overdo it. There's nothing good about this hustle culture that everybody has with college now, where they're popping Ambien and doing all-nighters and stuff like that. There's nothing good for your body, for your mind, and for your experience. Be realistic about what you can do your freshman year, your sophomore year, and then the other years, because you don't want to overwork yourself. You want to give yourself time to explore and do great things. Number 4, for high school, get involved early. I said that slow because I want you to understand the emphasis on it. Get involved early. That means joining clubs, sports, band, whatever, choir, whatever. Get involved early, especially if you want to go to college, because those extracurricular activities look so good on your application. And if you don't see a club or event or something that suits you, then talk to your counselors and your principal about making a club. You will always find a group of people that go to school with you at some point that share your interests, that would love to join something that is specifically for what you all like to do. And honestly, if you go that route, then you come off on your applications as a leader, or even on your resume as a leader and somebody who's inventive and creative and can set up initiatives. And then if you get involved, then you come off as a team player, somebody who knows how to work within a team to get the best results. Either way, you look good if you get involved early. I made the mistake of not getting involved in much of anything. I did join the Black History Club, but only because they took us to Cedar Point every year. And I was in choir, but I never took it seriously. I was just like there because it was an easy A and I didn't care. So when it came to applying for colleges, I found myself having to do things at the last minute, trying to make it look good, when honestly, if I had started earlier, I would have had more to offer and more to talk about, instead of trying to cram things together and make it up as I go along. For college, network. I cannot stress how important networking is, because honestly, in this day, it's more about who you know than what you know. You can have that college degree, but the people that generally get hired are the ones that have friends or family, or your uncle and cousin know this one person on the inside, or you met this person at a party and now you guys are the best of friends. Like, you don't have any idea how important it is to network in college. I can honestly say that you can go to class every day, get straight A's, but never speak to anybody, and you will have the hardest time finding a job or getting help in the endeavors that you want to get into, because network is so key. When I got into my job, when I was working in hospitality and I became a banquet manager and a catering manager, it all came from all the people that I knew. Like, when I went to apply for those jobs, somebody that I had met while I was working in the entry-level position remembered me, remembered how friendly I was and my smile and all this other stuff, and they recommended me and said my name, to the point where people were like, okay, well then let's give her a chance. Network. Okay, so let's get into tip number 5, which is focused around peer pressure and gossip in high school. Okay, now here's my take on gossip. Mind your damn business. Don't partake in gossip, because the thing about gossip is it goes around full circle. So while you think you're getting away with talking about so and so and them and how they messing up and how they're doing this and how they're doing that, you're actually putting yourself out there to be talked about too. Don't get involved in gossip. You don't have time. You need to finish, you need to graduate, you need to live your life. And gossip doesn't do anything but keep negative energy around you. You don't want negative energy, you want positive energy, so you can make your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year a lot more fun. Trust me, it is a lot more fun when you have nothing but positive energy and vibes in your space. And then peer pressure, don't fall into that stereotype of peer pressure, because here's the thing, people are either gonna like you or they don't. If you think that doing something because everybody else is doing it is going to make them like you, you're sadly mistaken, because honestly, they're going to talk about you like a dog and talk about the fact that you have no backbone, or you'll do anything they tell you to do, and blah, 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 blah. All of that does not equal you being popular or cool or whatever. People are either going to like you or they don't. And if they don't, screw them. They don't even matter. In the long run, you might not even see them next year. Like, don't worry about what other people think about you, and don't feel like you have to do what they tell you to do to be part of the clique. For me, when I was in high school, there were a couple things that I did not do that I wasn't gonna do until I was ready to do. One of them was sex, and the other one was smoking. I did not smoke anything, did any drugs, pop Molly, none of that. Because what was the point in all of that? I couldn't find a good reason why I needed to. And just because all of these people were doing it off to the side, I needed to do it too? No. And I had just as many friends as I was going to have, and just as many friends as I wasn't going to have the whole time I was in school. There were people who loved me and people who hated me. And honestly, the truth was, the people who didn't like me, they didn't like me because of their own superficial issues. It had nothing to do with whether or not I smoked or was sleeping with everybody. So don't feel like you need to be pressured into anything. Do what works and feels good to you. Okay, so peer pressure and gossip in college. Again, mind your damn business. Don't get involved in gossip, even though you're on a bigger plane with college, because there's so many buildings and there's these hundreds of thousands of students or whatnot. You still don't want to get caught up in all of that drama. It's not fun. Keep positive energy so that you can have a great and positive experience. And then when it comes to peer pressure in college, I'm just going to say it like this. You took the time to pick the school you wanted to go to. You took the time to pick the classes and the major and the fields of study that you want to get into, the electives you wanted to get into, the clubs you wanted to join. You took the time to decorate your dorm the way you wanted to. All of this is coming out of your time and your money. You don't have time to worry about what other people are thinking or what they feel like you should do. You're spending way too much money on this experience. And you're an adult now. There's no reason why anybody should be trying to talk you into anything, but there's no reason why you need to let them talk you into anything. If they don't want what you want, that's perfectly fine. You don't need them. You can go on and do your own thing. But there are too many people in that school for you to spend all your time trying to impress one person, especially when you're spending either your money or your parents' money to be there. Listen, if you want to have fun in either freshman year of high school or freshman year of college, then you have to do things your way. Don't try to compare yourself to your parents, your siblings, or your friends. Enjoy it on your terms because this is your life. You only get one time for this experience, so make it the best. So put in work and effort because you don't want to waste time trying to play catch up because you did not do what you needed to do your freshman year. Next week, I will be talking about senior advice and the truth about your final year. What you need to know and how you need to make it the most fruitful year of your high school existence. So if you want to see that video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be updated when it's posted. Also, I want to encourage you to click on this video if you're coping with stress, or this video if you have a fear of starting over. And that's all I'm going to cover today. I hope to see you next week. Bye.